This is every single episode of the Book of Boba Fett ranked. Now, the opinion on the Book of Boba Fett amongst the fandom is hugely different, and the ranking of episodes that someone that loved the series as a whole would have would probably be different to the people that didn't like very much of it. And honestly, mine's probably a mixture between the two. So let's take a look at it. So kicking off the list with episode 1, and I thought it was okay, but okay at best. Every problem that people seem to have with the series, I agree with most, like, strongly in chapter 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. So honestly, it's gonna go in D tier. Now, it's not D tier in terms of it's the worst thing I've ever watched. It's relative to the Boba episodes. Now, chapter 2, I think is slightly overrated in terms of how high it would go compared to the other episodes amongst the fandom. I thought it was good. I thought it was better than chapter 1, but I don't think it was by that much. It is going to go in C tier because I do think it was better. I did enjoy the flashback sequence significantly more, but again, the real-time stuff that happened wasn't that great. Now, moving on to chapter 3, and this is probably the most hated episode of the series, and this is where my opinion is different, because chapter 3 for me is better than chapter 1 and chapter 2. Yes, the Power Rangers Mario Kart chase scene wasn't the best, but everything else in this episode I actually quite liked, so it's going to go in B tier. I think the mods are a bit overhated. I can understand people saying they don't really fit on Tatooine, and I kind of agree. I wish that we didn't have Star Wars characters based on, like, the London mod gang. Their speeders look absolutely dreadful and don't fit in Star Wars at all, but as characters, I thought they were kind of cool. I realise now that I've put chapter 4 in D tier rather than chapter 1, so I'll change that quickly. And moving on to chapter 4, I again think it was better than all the previous episodes. I really like this. Definitely the best flashback sequences by far. It established really well how Boba and Fennec became like a partnership, and it kind of set up that they were starting to become friends, which we saw more in the real-time stuff. Not much happened in the real-time stuff, but like I said, the flashback sequence was by far the best so far, so I'm going to put this in A tier. Now, chapter 5, the first Book of Boba Fett episode that wasn't a Book of Boba Fett episode, the one where Din Djarin was introduced. It was fantastic, and like everyone said, the best Boba Fett episode so far was the first one without Boba Fett. So it's going in S tier. Din Djarin was incredible. It was Mando Season 3 Episode 1, so it wasn't the best Book of Boba Fett episode, but it was a great episode. It really did set up Mando Season 3 perfectly, and I'm incredibly hyped for it. Both the action and story was great, and it set up Episode 6 perfectly as well. Speaking of, where do we think S tier? That's where we think it's going to go. Don't need to think about that. Come on, it got Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, Cad Bane, and Grogu all introduced to the series for the first time in one episode without it feeling like overkill. How do you even do that? I don't understand. This episode was the best experience I've ever had as a Star Wars fan. I will never forget it. It was just so good. So it is absolutely going in S tier. And now we have the finale. I didn't realize this would get that much hate when I watched it for the first time. You've all seen my reaction video. I'll put it up here. I just really liked it. Now that I've watched it again, following my initial watch of it, I can understand some of the criticisms, but I do think people are being very harsh on it, and it's still going to go in S tier. It was very entertaining and cool. There was a lot of stuff we hadn't seen before. Din and Boba teaming up was absolutely spot on. The only minor problems I have is we didn't really see Fennec that much from when she left to her at the very end, and we also didn't see Bane from when he negotiated to his final battle with Boba. Why was he absent from the main fight? I don't know. The Rancor came in, which I somehow forgot about, which was incredible, but the fight scenes were immaculate, and although there wasn't much story at all to this episode, it was kind of just like preparing to fight, fighting, fight ends, but it was fun and I enjoyed it. So let me rearrange S tier to rank the episodes within it, and that is my final ranking done. Now, sadly, we don't have another series for a couple of months, so the only thing we can do is speculate and make theories about those upcoming series, and that is exactly what I did in this video about the Kenobi series, and I really believe this theory to be true. So if you want, check that out right after you leave a like if you enjoyed this video, you subscribed if you are new to the channel, and you left a comment giving me your rankings, because I will read all of them. Thank you for doing that, and I'll see you over in the Kenobi series theory video. Goodbye.